That's correct. Yeah, it's 20 over 20 minutes today. Yep. I'll describe as best I can and point. So, yeah. Thank you. We will begin shortly with the student athletes from Oklahoma. It's pretty nice. It's long, and there's zero air circulation. It is so hot. I mean, these aren't hot, but there's just no air back here. I mean, I'm in the corner of the room. Yeah. Our student athletes from Oklahoma, Jamal Biemi, Christian Doolittle, Christian James, and Brady Manick. We'll now open the floor for questions to the student athletes. In the middle, and again, just a reminder today, if you could introduce yourself and let us know your affiliation.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Christian James, can you talk about playing a big role on the Final Four team and sort of your mindset at that point, thinking, you know, this is going to happen every year and all those things, and then 3 years later here you finally got another NCAA tournament victory and just the frustrations of fighting through what I assume you were sort of expecting going to happen a lot?
Well, definitely coming in as a freshman, you don't know how hard it is on a collegiate level of making it to the Final Four. So my freshman year, I thought we was going to go every year. But it's definitely a lot harder than what it looks. You know, having great guard play and just great players on my freshman team. We had some struggles my sophomore year and my junior year, but just knowing what it takes and just hard work, dedication, and just locking in every game. You know, you have to take every game seriously, and I feel like this team, we have a pretty good team, and we can do that. You know, I feel like we can go on a big run. We got a lot of work ahead, though.
Second row, right side.
Yes, this is for Brady. David Teal with the Daily Press in Newport News, Virginia. the numbers would indicate that yesterday was your best, the team's best offensive game of the season. Did you, as a player, perceive it as such?
Yeah, I think so. I think yesterday was probably the most fun we've had as a team. I mean, we came out and we hit them first, and everybody contributed, whether it was finding an open guy or knocking down shots. I think everybody played a really big role in yesterday's victory.
The left side, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Collins with the Associated Press, and I guess this is for any of y'all. Do you, in a region that has, I think, 3 double-digit seeds left, and y'all are the 9 seed here, do you feel like a Cinderella at all? Do you feel like a Cinderella because you got to take on the top seed tomorrow?
Start with Jamal.
Nah, I mean, we expect to be in this position. That's what we worked for all season. We kept chipping away, and this is just our expectation.
Like Jamal said, we've worked hard. We've worked hard all year just to get to this point. I don't want to say a Cinderella story, but we've worked hard, and we kind of expect to be in this situation. So we just want to take it one game at a time, lock in and focus. When the lights come on, we just want to show up.
Yeah, I don't think we want to take anybody lightly. Just we know what we have to do. We know we have to bring energy like we did yesterday, and we know we got to just play hard and play together.
Front row on the right side.
Ron Counts from the Daily Progress. This is for Brady and for Christian. UVA's a pack line defense. Everyone knows about it. They play to keep teams out of the paint. You guys have a really strong inside-out game. What do you think about that system, and what's the key to maybe competing against that system?
I think just moving the ball, finding the open guy, finding a possible mismatch here and there, just doing small things correctly and hopefully getting better results.
And you're asking me?
Which Christian?
Yeah.
Thank
you know, moving the ball, like Brady said, inside and out, just being able to make the right play, not really forcing the issue, like we did the other day, being able to just take the right shot and just trusting the offense that we have set in stone for the game.
Second row right side.
Yes, this is for Christian James. Christian, Virginia's ranked among the top 10 nationally in defensive efficiency, but so too are Texas Tech and Kansas State, teams you're very familiar with. As you have studied Virginia, I don't know how much you've gotten into yet, but do you see any similarities between UVA and perhaps Texas Tech and or Kansas State, especially on the defensive end?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. They're both long teams, very long, and they play great help defense. When we penetrate, they do a great job of swarming to the ball. So that's something that they have in similarities and things like that. But they're great teams. Great teams. We've been watching them, we've been studying them, and like Brady said, we just have to move the ball, find the right guy, find an open man.
The left side in the middle.
Yeah, Christian James, you guys are a senior-dominated team, but out of the 4 up there, you're the only senior. Do you find yourself as a senior being more desperate when you reach the NCAA tournament, realizing, hey, this is my last chance? Got a bigger sense of urgency maybe than you did before your senior year?
Most definitely. Last year and my sophomore year, I was really frustrated. We made to the tournament last year, but it kind of hurt me a lot. So just looking forward and being in the situation again, I don't want to take anything for granted. If it being a senior on this team, just making plays or just getting somebody else going, that's really big for our team because we have a lot of great players. And I just want to come out and do whatever it can just to get a win. The energy has to be there. I'll make sure my team is ready to play.
Left side.
Yeah, Brady, 3 of the last 4 games, you got 22, 21, and 18 points. What's the reason for your game sort of accelerating to such consistent high production?
I think just having guys like Jamal on the court with me, finding an open guy, having other threats on the court too. You can't just face guard me the whole time. They have other guys on the court to be threats on the offensive end, and I think just everybody having their confidence up, we played well yesterday, and like going back to the Texas and Kansas games, I mean, everybody really had their confidence high, and I think that plays a big part in how everybody and myself score like that.
On the right side.
This is for any one of you guys who would care to answer. If they didn't look so much alike, would you know that the two Coach Krugers are related just in the way they act or the way they interact?
Jamal and Christian Doolittle.
Man, I mean, Kev has his own personality. Kev, we call Coach Kruger's son Kev because they're both Krug. But you know, Kev has his own personality. He's a young guy, so we have side conversations with him all the time. You know, Big Krug been through it all, so he's speaking from experience whenever he's telling us something. You know, we can relate to Kev whenever we're just sitting around just talking or chilling. But to answer your question, I mean that's kind of tough. I mean, I'm pretty sure Big Krug was just the way Kev is when he was younger, so it's kind of hard.
I agree with that. I mean, I spent a lot of time with Coach Kev, and I can definitely see some similarities, and I can see Coach Kruger acting like Kev when he was younger.
Front row on the left.
Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times in Virginia for Christian James. It looks as if you had that 5-game losing streak. You went to TCU, got the win, kind of turned it. What kind of turning point was that in your season?
It was huge. It was huge for us. You know, we went on a losing streak, and we went to their place and got a win. So that was big for us just to go get an away game, just to get our momentum rolling again.
Left side, second row.
Aaron McFarling with the Roanoke Times. Brady, what was missing during the 5-game losing streak? Why did that happen, and what's better now?
I don't know. I just think we had a few close ones, and then it kind of brought us down, and getting that TCU win brought us back up. But I think just our confidence level was kind of low at the time, and I think winning a few games got it back up and led to where we are now.
Front row on the right side.
For Christian Doolittle, Gene Wong with the Washington Post. Just wanted to get your impressions on Virginia's bigs, in particular Mamadi Diakite, and kind of what challenges he brings on the defensive end.
Can you say their names again? Okay, yeah, that's a lot better. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pronounce their name, but you know, our coach is telling us today that all their bigs are really tall and long. You know, they read the post on every post touch, whether it be the bigs or guards. So passing the ball out would be very tough. Being able to throw around hands. But with that said, we have to make them pay for doubling. So just making the right play, and knocking down shots.
Any more questions for the student athletes from Oklahoma? Thank you, gentlemen. I don't believe, I didn't get confirmation, but I will walk. Steve, Steve, and the director is in the back. Blue sport coat with a burgundy tie. Let me switch these out. I'm doing well. How are you? Did you get some rest? I did it. Some, maybe. It's that time of year. Oklahoma head coach Lon Kruger will start questioning on the right-hand side.
Coach, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. I was talking to your son about the experience of playing for you, working for you, and I'm just curious, you know, as a coach who's seen all that it entails in the business. Did you want Kevin to go into coaching after basketball, and what has that experience been like?
Well, it's been a great experience. What he chose to do, you just, as any parent, you want your kids to be happy and enjoy what they do, and I'm not disappointed that he decided to do that for sure, but certainly it was his decision. But it's been great. From the time as a player, when a young guy or daughter, they leave home after high school, you don't really expect to be around them on a daily basis ever again, perhaps. And we've been blessed with the opportunity to spend a lot of time together since he graduated from high school and then graduated from Arizona State when he came back as a fifth-year grad to UNLV, and then now back on the staff. So it's fantastic. Yeah, you can't beat it.
Front row on the right.
Josh Needleman for the Charlottesville Daily Progress. Coach, Kie Clark for Virginia yesterday was very active in terms of chasing loose balls, getting steals, getting rebounds. What have you seen from him so far, and how do you prepare for a player like that who's so active?
He's engaged in everything. Like you say, he's active defensively. He's alert, like all their players do a great job of being alert, focused on each possession. He keys a lot of things that they do offensively. Terrific leader for them, it appears. Does a good job on both ends.
The left side, right on the aisle.
Josh Kendall with the State. Lon, how has the recruiting of international guys changed since you first became a college coach?
Back then, it was probably rare to have a foreign player on a team. Now it seems like a majority of teams have at least one from outside the country. So just the numbers of foreign players have changed a lot. I think the technology, the video, the information that's available today on foreign players much greater than it was 40 years ago, for sure.
Do you find yourself recruiting them more through that technology, or do you get out and get feet on the ground and go see those guys? How do you do it?
Usually begins with technology, a video on someone, and then you're intrigued, and maybe you have international competition, or you may catch them when they're touring the United States. We did that with Matt Freeman. We saw some video. Then he was playing in an event in Vegas, actually, that we watched him 4 or 5 summers ago and liked him more. So usually starts with a video, though, on someone that gives us a heads up on someone.
The right side on the aisle.
David Teal with the Daily Press in Newport News, Virginia. Coach, you competed against Dick Bennett back when you were both in the Big Ten. As you study Virginia on film, do you see Dick Bennett in what Tony Bennett does?
Well, Tony does he's got his own stamp on everything he does, but certainly how difficult it is to score, the great job they do defensively. His dad, teams are always like that. So maybe a little bit different style in a way, but still the difficulty in playing against him is very similar for sure.
Front row on the right.
Coach, Virginia is known for its pack line defense. What have you seen out of their defense, and have you faced anyone this year that you can compare their defense to?
Yeah, they're very, very good. So there's not many people as good in the country as they are. Probably out of our league, the two teams that are a little bit pack line, very, very tough to score on. Texas Tech, Kansas State probably remind you more in preparation than any other teams, and we had trouble scoring on those teams. So we've got to improve for tomorrow.
On the left side.
Lon, Jeffrey Collins with the Associated Press. When you're approaching tomorrow's game, do you kind of play the psychological angle that, hey, you're the 9 seed, you can be Cinderella, or do you go at it, hey, you play in the Big 12, you're just, you play teams like this all the time, go just have at it?
Combination probably of the two. We want to play, we want to be aggressive, we want to attack, we want to be dictating. We try to go into every ball game thinking that way, and certainly we've played a lot of very good teams in the Big 12, and Virginia's as good as any of them, obviously, based on the rankings. So, but yeah, we'll go in, swing away, and try to do the things that give us the best chance to be effective.
Third row on the right.
A couple more on your son real quickly. He mentioned that earlier in your career you were not a guy to sit. Your demeanor on the sideline has changed. Is that older, wiser? What's behind that?
Well, I don't know if it's, I don't think about how it's changed necessarily, but yeah, probably, I don't know about the wiser part, certainly the older part for sure.
And in terms of your relationship away from the court and away from, do you have to guard against being too much Oklahoma basketball with him and trying to have some other, or do you is every family dinner Oklahoma basketball related?
No, it's I think a good mixture. I mean, certainly when you start the season in early October, there really aren't any days off until it ends in April. So it's kind of just every coach's life. I don't know that you ever go through a day not thinking about basketball and talking about basketball. So there's certainly a blend of that, but there's a lot of other interest as well.
Right side.
Coach, the numbers would indicate that yesterday was your team's best offensive performance of the season, if not going back even farther. From a coach's more critical eye, was that indeed the case?
Probably one of the top ones for sure. I guess 3 weeks ago, probably Kansas had a really good, similar type performance against Kansas in Norman. We had a good margin throughout the game and kind of played for 40 minutes. I thought yesterday the key was being able to sustain it for 40 minutes. Off to such a great start, and they made a little run to start the second half, but then we scored quickly right on the heels of their run and kind of widened the margin back out. So I thought the guys were really focused for 40 minutes and took good care of the ball, and shot selection was good, and like the guys mentioned, moved the ball well and trusted each other and made good plays.
Front row on the right.
Coach, Christian James, I believe, was on your Final Four team as a freshman. How much have you leaned on him this season for leadership, and specifically in this tournament environment? How much do you lean on him to kind of guide the younger guys?
Yeah, we've got 7 or 8 seniors, so it's a case where you kind of collectively they do a great job, Christian being one of them. He's played a big role for us all year long. He's made big shots for us. Thought he really had a good game yesterday, not just offensively, but his focus and engagement on the defensive end and rebounding the ball and just the complete game I thought was really good from him yesterday.
Front right in the corner.
Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Coach, 25-year anniversary of your Final Four team at Florida. What do you remember about that team? What did you learn from that team and sort of just the legacy of that team?
Yeah, it was a great group of young guys. I think probably the biggest thing, they really trusted each other. I think they respected the abilities, expected one another to take care of their responsibilities. It really came together as the year developed. A lot of confidence out of the group, great leadership out of Dan Cross and Andrew DeClerc, Dimitri Hill, Brian Thompson, Craig Brown. You can go down the list a long way, and they were very secure with themselves and trusted each other and enjoyed playing together.
Back right.
Lon, your teams have always run really great offense, and even through the period of time when things got really, difficult to move. And so I'm wondering, now we're like 3 or 4 years into the freedom of movement thing, really going at it from the rules standpoint. What you've thought of that initiative and whether you think it's effective in making the game more attractive?
Well, I think the intentions are great. I think people want to see movement. They want to see, scoring. I think it opened up a little bit. I don't know that we fully, maximized on our goals. I think it's tough to score in the low post, all the physicalness of that. I think that's why you see more people going to the three-point shot. It's such a higher percentage shot than it takes a really skilled guy to score in the low post with all the contact that occurs on every shot. And so I think that's not necessarily healthy for the game. I think we would like to maybe get back to re-examining where we're at and where we want to go and maybe try to clean it up even a little bit more. Today a guy keep his hands back. He can pretty much do whatever he wants to with his body, in the low post especially. There's a lot of walking under. There's a lot of moving into guys as they shoot the ball. So it makes it tough to score in there.
Third row on the right side.
Coach, as you look at Ty Jerome and the way he sort of commands things offensively and defensively, what challenges does he present? And specifically, his willingness to take threes from just inside of the half-court line, how does that enter into your defensive plan?
He's terrific. Like you say, he can score from deep. He can get into the paint and score. He's very, very good with ball screens and making plays, finding big guys. He just puts the pressure on the defense all the time because he sees the floor. He's got great vision, great imagination, really a good player.
Front row on the inside aisle.
Hey, Lon. Gene Wong with the Washington Post. You'd mentioned the difficulty about scoring in the post. When you look at Virginia's bigs, particularly Mamadi Diakite, kind of what do you see out of him and the challenges that he presents?
Yeah, he's terrific. He's long, rangy in there. The bigs, they've got great poise when they catch it inside. He did a great job last night of catching a couple times in the crowd and just collecting himself and letting the defense kind of make a mistake and then score. He's got, and again, Hunter's great. Salt, brings a different dimension to it. So their big guys are good.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank you.
Thank you.
The Oklahoma locker room will remain open until 2:15. 200. That's the West Coast, East Coast bias. That's it. Yes, ma'am. It's RJ and Zion. Yes, ma'am. We will begin shortly with the student athletes from Virginia. Mix it up. Student athletes from Virginia, Ty Jerome and Kyle Guy. We'll start with questions on the right side, second row.
Both of you guys can take a shot at answering this. You guys are pretty aware of some of the guys who've come before you in the UVA program and what they've accomplished and been able to do. In terms of your group, if you're able to have a deep run in this tournament, what do you think that would be for your legacy, and where do you think you guys would kind of fit in?
Ty first, and then Kyle.
Yeah, just to be in the same boat or be able to be mentioned with those guys is a huge honor, and we're extremely thankful for that. All the wins we've been able to achieve, but we're not really worried about entertaining that right now. For us, it's just about trying to do everything we can for our team. We just want to play with this group more and more, and we have to win to be able to do that. We just want to win for us and coaches and Coach Bennett, really.
Yeah, we can come back to that conversation when our careers are over. We got more important things on our mind right now. Like Ty said, to be mentioned with, Malk, Joe Harris, and guys that are, excelling in the league, and guys that are making money professionally or whatever they're doing is, truly an honor. So,
front row on the right side.
This is for Ty, and I'm sorry to embarrass you, Kyle, but it's asking Ty to talk about you. The other day, Kyle said that he invited himself to your house for when you were in high school for the All-Star game, that you said he started following you on social media. Kyle seems to be sort of a unique guy in a lot of ways. He helped a guy up yesterday. He'll congratulate people on the other team if they beat you guys. Have you met many guys like him, and what's it like to have him as a friend?
Well, first of all, we're teammates, not friends. We're just strictly teammates. All right, it stops there. No. Yeah, he's really unique, and one of the best things about him is how confident he is in his own skin. So he's not really worried about other people's opinions. He's really confident. He can annoy you a lot, but honestly, he doesn't care really. So he's super confident on and off the court. He's funny. He's fun to be around. So he's just a really unique person, like you said, and it's fun to be around somebody who isn't worried about the outside world. Thanks, man.
Front row on the left.
Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. Kyle, how much college basketball do you watch on television during the season? How well do you know teams at Oklahoma's level?
Yeah, we're Definitely a basketball junkie group. We watch basketball together all the time. It's kind of how we, bond off the court, playing cards and watching basketball is what we do. We've got a chance to watch Oklahoma battle for Atlantis, obviously, because they were there. And we've watched teams from all over, so we know that they're a good team, and looking forward to playing them.
On the left.
Jeffrey Collins from the Associated Press. With a night to sleep on it, is it a relief to have finally got that first round out of the way? And, I mean, do you still have that pressure on you from the fact that with all the high seeds Virginia's had in the last several years, they haven't made it to a Final Four?
Yeah, I would say that, the outside world's always going to try to put pressure on you, and, sometimes you can find yourself putting pressure on yourself. But we're just trying to have, Coach was referencing the Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full heart. So just trying to focus on what's important. And, we got out of the first round my freshman year. So last year we weren't as fortunate, and this year, we got the job done. So just looking forward to playing Oklahoma.
Front right.
Kyle, I know you've mentored Kihei a little bit this year. Was what he was able to do yesterday on defense, like chasing after loose balls, getting rebounds and steals, sort of a good example of the value he brings to you guys?
Yeah, he may not be, scoring the most points every night, but he's a very valuable player on this team. And, the little things he does is kind of Isaiah Wilkins-esque. Obviously, he's not as big as anybody on the court, but he does some things that, picking up full court for 33 games now, I mean, obviously you don't see me doing that. So he's a selfless player, and he doesn't care about stats, and he does a lot of the little things that help us win.
The right side, in the middle.
For both you guys, going back to some of those players who've come before you, was there anybody early in your career or now that you stay in touch with who's had a big influence on you in terms of the guys who came before?
Start with Ty.
Yeah, I stay in touch with everybody that we've played with, even the guys that transferred, like Mariel, DT, Darius Thompson. So I stay in touch with everyone, really. I still speak to Devin almost every day. I speak to London all the time, so Isaiah all the time. So we have a great relationship with all those guys who've left. And then even the guys that we haven't played with, like Malcolm and Joe and Justin, I've spent weekends with them too. So our alumni base, basically everyone reaching back and wanting to see all of us succeed is great.
Yeah, that's one of the special things about this program is how all the former players really just buy into this program and want to give back and come back and hang out with us and, mentor us in any ways they can. And we're all open ears for that kind of stuff whenever. Sometimes we don't listen to Justin Anderson very much, but all the other players, no, I'm kidding. Because he's got experience and he's obviously in the league doing just fine. So, that's a brotherhood that this, university and program has, and, we're thankful for that.
The question was, what kind of mentorship and advice do they give you?
So, I mean, before the tournament, Malcolm texted me. He said, just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Continue to lead the group and just be yourself and trust your work. And then after the game, he texted me, good job. He said, good job. Now go make it through the weekend. And really just little things like that where he didn't have to text me. Like, he's going through his own rehab process right now. And for him to be worried about or be concerned with what we're doing, it just shows how selfless he is and shows what, great group of guys have come through here.
Yeah, for me, I talk to Isaiah a lot, and he's just a fun-loving guy as you know him, and he's all about, take care of your business, but remember to have fun in it. So that's what he told me leading into this tournament.
Back right corner.
Dean Blevins, News 9 Sports. Oklahoma prefers a fast pace. I just wondered if you guys prefer a pace, and secondly, they've been getting good performances from Doolittle, and just wondered about your thoughts on the inside. They got a lot of paint points yesterday.
Ty first.
Yeah, they probably want to play a little faster than us. We're really about getting the best shot, and we want to keep teams out of transition. So sometimes the game will be slower if we have preference. And I think Doolittle has been playing great. He had a really good game yesterday, or 2 days ago, yesterday. So we'll have to put different matchups on him, throw different coverages at him, and they're also really balanced too, so it's not just him.
Yeah, we already watched some film on them, and we're gonna watch more tonight. So, you know, we don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but we know that they do have a balanced offensive scoring attack. I think 4 guys had more than 17 yesterday, I believe. And, you know, they do want to get up and down, and, you know, we're fine with that. We try to keep teams out of transition, and then we take what the defense gives us. So whether that's a fast break points or a quick shot or, you know, a late shot clock shot, whatever is the best shot is what we're going to take.
Front here on the left.
Yeah, Ty, how much of a benefit was it, if it was a benefit, to be challenged the way that you were for a half yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily about benefit or non-benefit. It's just you're in a tournament, so every team is good. You know what I mean? The whole, you're playing a 16 seed. The game shouldn't be close. That whole stigma is kind of nonsense because every team is good. They won their conference tournament, and they came out playing at a high level. So we had to respond, and now it's kind of just move on. You survive and advance, and you focus on the next team.
Front right.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. This is for Kyle. You were talking yesterday that you're very competitive on the court, but that isn't going to make you forget how you were raised. Could you talk for a moment, if you don't mind, about how you were raised?
Yeah, I have a unique family setup. So I have 2 step-parents and obviously 2 biological parents, and they're all best friends, which is something that you don't see. My stepdad and dad go on, you know, road trips with me when I was in the recruiting process. They drive down to games together. So that in itself is, you know, obviously they butt heads because, you know, that's just how life is. But they, you know, keep that away from me because they want what's best for me. And that's, you know, I owe them a lot for that. And then I have 5 siblings, which is why I wear the number 5. And we were just raised to be good people, be kind to everyone, no judgment, no discrimination. So that's just kind of how I've always been and how I want to try to continue to be.
And the back row on the left.
Joe Bettner, Norman Transcript. Kyle, you mentioned seeing OU in the Bahamas, and I'm wondering if you had an impression of them back then, and how much of a challenge do they present to you all?
Yeah, they're a big physical, athletic team, which, you know, against anybody can impose their will. I think they've really found their rhythm now as compared to in Battle for Atlantis, but then again, we weren't playing at our highest level either then. So it was early in the season, and, you know, they've grown and gotten a lot better. So I think it'll be a great game.
Any additional questions for the student athletes? Left side.
Ty, Kihei said that he tries to pick your brain every chance he gets and absorb the knowledge that you have. What have you seen that's how far he's come, and what improvements do you think he's made this year?
I think the biggest thing for him is that he's grown on just understanding the value of every possession. So he always had that work ethic, that competitiveness, that drive, from day one. But I think he was a little sloppy with the ball at certain times when he came in, just because everyone is when they come from high school. They're used to kind of just playing with a huge leash in high school. So I think he's grown so much from day one in that aspect. And I think his biggest asset to this team is his selflessness. You know, he could care less how much he scores. He's just all about winning. You know, we have certain plays where he'll bring the ball up, he'll play the point guard position on certain plays that don't involve ball screens, and then the plays that do involve ball screens, he'll ask me if I want the ball. So he's just super selfless. He's all about winning. He's all about the team. He'll give up his body for the team. And we have to tell him to be more aggressive too sometimes. So just a great teammate, a great ultra competitor.
On the right side.
Kyle, we've kind of joked about, you know, what people are going to ask you guys once you get past that 116 game, but it was a relief for a lot of folks yesterday. Can you break down the dynamic? I mean, you're not going to be relaxed now. It's still the NCAA tournament, but still getting the quote-unquote monkey off your back and moving forward.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think how we won yesterday is a huge testament of our growth from last year. last year we were in the same situation and we panicked as an entire program, and this year we didn't, and we took care of business and got the job done. So, yeah, we can, breathe a little bit easier now, but at the same time, it's NCAA tournament, so like you said, we're not relaxed. We're not content by any means. We're still have our foot on the gas and just, trying to go as far as we can.
Thank you, guys. The Virginia locker room will be open until 3 o'clock. Coach Bennett's expected to arrive at 2:40. Better run. Virginia head coach Tony Bennett. We'll start with questions on the front right.
Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Tony, Kyle Gass needs to be sort of a different type of person. He's very happy. He's very accessible. I've seen him go out of his way to congratulate opponents who have beaten you guys, which is rare, of course. And yesterday he accidentally knocked down a Gardner-Webb player, went over and told him it wasn't intentional. You seem to have a pretty good relationship with him. What is it that makes him the way he is, and what is it that you find refreshing about him?
Yeah, no, I think, well, I've been fortunate to coach a lot of guys that are just strong character, and that comes from, I think how he's been brought up from his family, and he's a kind person, and, he enjoys the game. He has a love for the game and is lighthearted, and so I think that's a credit certainly to his family, and again, he just has always been that way, and he's a competitor, but yet enjoys it and understands, I think, the big picture in regards to that.
Front right.
Tony, I think it's fair to say maybe a portion of the fan base had maybe been down on Kihei at times this year because of his offensive production. Was what he was able to do yesterday defensively, chasing loose balls, getting rebounds and steals, sort of indicative of why he's continuing to be a big part of your rotation and starting?
Yeah, no, he's been so valuable, and you can't concern yourself with the opinion of others. He's helped us. He guards the ball hard. He scraps, and he's made some good offensive plays for us. Gives us a dimension that we haven't had in a long time. And again, you asked specifically defensively, and it's that when you play against certain kinds of teams that have elite quickness, and you can set your defense with good ball pressure, that's really important. And he's allowed us to do that. And then, again, offensively, he can touch the paint and made some really good plays and passes for us. So he's so competitive, and he brings that. And I think that is contagious when you watch that. When you're behind that and he's setting your defense and you're a player, I think that can be inspiring or get the guys going. Taking charges, he's done that over the course of the year.
Right side.
Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You've told us a few times this year that you've encouraged the guys to take joy in the pursuit of a championship. You've also told us in past years that your disappointment in losses stems from wanting your guys to win, wanting them to experience success. Final Four is the thing that they want. I'm curious how you strike a balance of finding joy in the pursuit of a championship versus any pressure you feel to get some players that you obviously care about as far as they can go.
Yeah, we talk. It was actually a quote in a book I read. The joy of competition and the fun in the pursuit of a championship. You know, let's talk about that can't define you in terms of who you are, but it's worth it to go after it for all you're worth. These guys have been gifted. All the players and teams in this tournament have such gifts, and it's a worthy goal to go after. Only one gets it, but I think you, as a coach, certainly you have goals and dreams for yourself. And when you spend as much time with these young men, getting to know them, going through the ups and the downs and the battles, it's just they're an extended part of your family, and you want to see it go well for them and the program. So I think it's just our theme this year was, is united pursuit. And that's, I think, a good way to kind of summarize what it's about. You're so united in everything through this pursuit. And, that means in success, and that also means in failure. And if, you can keep that balance, I think that helps. But it certainly, it's a great desire for everyone.
Left side.
Tony, you've taken some transfers at Virginia, and they've usually been players who were starters at their other schools. What do you tell them about playing time? Everybody wants to play. And also, for guys like Nigel and Braxton who are immediately eligible, how challenging is the pack line in your system in general to learn so quickly?
Yeah, I think when you come into a program that has been fortunate enough to have success, you just, you have to say, do you want to be a part of this? And you can't guarantee anything unless here's a spot, X amount of minutes, but that's so fluid. You just want guys that are willing to go get everything that they earn. And sometimes, they maybe earn less than they get, but will they be willing to be united, in the pursuit of what we're trying to do? And I think there is always a learning curve when you come from a different system. Now, I think the experience that transfers have is playing in this game, and they understand the physicality and the intensity. A guy like Braxton, who played in the SEC and had, played in an NCAA tournament game or two, that's invaluable. So, and he was, an important part in his, I think it was 12 minutes. Every game, as we've seen this year, sometimes it's more minutes, sometimes it's less. But he understood that when he became eligible this year, with DeAndre and some of the established guys there, it was going to be, and we talked about that, we'll plug you in where we can, and you'll get what you earn, and just keep plugging because he's an important part of this.
The left side.
Yeah, Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. OU hasn't had the season it wanted until yesterday when they played really well. They're a senior-dominated team, 6, I think, play. Did you sense when you watched them play or through the video that those guys have a sense of urgency now that they're into the road? And in your experience, is that a factor, do you think, in the NCAA tournament?
Of course it is. I think, just playing high-level ball at the right time. We were in Atlanta in the early season tournament over Thanksgiving, and they were playing a little different now. They're playing real big. I think Doolittle was playing the 3 sometimes, and they have the talent. Coach Kruger is one of the best coaches there is. When I was at Wisconsin, he was in the Big Ten, and I've followed him and have a great amount of respect for him. But what he's done with last year's team was very good in how he's taken this team and used the versatility as strengths in it, how it culminated yesterday and other games. It wasn't just yesterday, but was impressive. So to have experience, to have veterans, and sort of that end of the road or seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, there is certainly a sense of urgency. So they showed it at a high level yesterday, and they cause some or present problems matching up with them because they score in unique ways.
Front on the right.
Tony, Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. You said a moment ago Kyle is lighthearted. Is he all business on the court and practice and everything, or do you sometimes have to remind him that this is a business type deal? And how did you find out about him, and how did you get him to come to UVA?
I think he enjoys. There's a joy to the game. He enjoys playing. He has fun on the court. But he's competitive and he plays hard, and I haven't had a problem with him, say be more business-like because he works hard. But I found out about him. We were watching another guard, and Coach Sanchez said, "Hey, look at this skinny guy on the other court." I think we was in Chicago at an Adidas event. We kept watching. We're like, "Well, he's pretty thin. I don't know." And he just kept making buckets, and again was real competitive. And you just kind of your eye caught him, and we followed him more and loved him, and thought, boy, he could be really good. And so we got involved, and weren't sure, being a kid from the Midwest Indiana, if we could lure him or get him interested in us. But it worked out. We connected, and I think he really took off. I think once he committed to us and he became a McDonald's All-American. I mean, he was highly recruited, but I think we got him committed, and then it just went to another level. So I'm glad we got in early, and I'm glad that Coach Sanchez pointed out the skinny kid on the court to the left of me.
Front row in the center.
Hey, Tony, Gene Wong, Washington Post. How has Mamadi's game developed offensively over the last few years? I think back to last season at Syracuse, he made a bunch of acrobatic jumpers, like falling away, awkward angles. Is that kind of an underappreciated part of his game?
Yeah, I think he's just gotten better and better. And Ty made the comment yesterday. It was a little bit shaky start for everyone, and Mamadi's matured in the sense that he fought through that, and he gave us some play on the offensive rebounding. Some post moves and finishing, and he does have touch, and it's just in increments. It's just gotten better every year, and I think it's just maturity, it's experience. He's, I always say, a little newer to the game than most kids from America, and he's, again, showed great flashes, and that's become more consistent, and he had a really good outing yesterday in a big-time setting.
Second row on the left.
Dean Blevins, News 9 Sports. Coach, Oklahoma had a big day yesterday in paint points, and it seems you stressed that. And can you talk about that matchup?
We stress that on offense or defense, keeping them out of the paint?
Just the paint points, yeah,
Sure.
You defensively.
Okay, yeah, they shot, I think it was 62% inside the three-point line from two-point range yesterday, and scoring 95 points, and I think they only took 13 threes. That shows you their efficiency and how they run their actions, and again how their bigs can back you down in their guards and post you up and play. It's going to be a war in that regard. It's kind of going to be bend but don't break, because they have the ability to create their own, and that's the test, because they can space it. I don't know if Brady would be their 4 or their 5, but he can space it. Doolittle can go to work as he's working the post, so they put some pressure on you with that, but we have to be as good as we can at, making them shoot the contested shots. That's our goal every game defensively. That's kind of the pack line mentality. Can you pressure the ball but be jammed up and make people shoot the majority of their shots contested and bothered, not at the rim.
Sorry, Coach. Right side.
Tony, before the opener, we were talking about, the guys were talking about the TED Talk that you showed them, and earlier Kyle mentioned that you quoted Friday Night Lights, wondering how recent that was. And also, when it comes to finding things to motivate them or push their buttons, do you enjoy kind of playing part coach, part psychologist when it comes to that stuff?
Well, I love movies. I love quoting movies, so that's movie lines. Kyle loves to quote Fletch, so there you go. Oh, he already left. He was asking if I thought, did he leave? All right. He wanted to know more about Kyle's kindness. I guess I didn't give him enough the first time. So, but he can quote a lot of Fletch lines. But yeah, no, Friday Night Lights. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Everybody knows that, and that's such a good thing. But I think as a coach, you're always trying to find ways to. I don't know if it's sometimes. I can remember quoting a kid from a line from the Karate Kid, and I'm talking to our guys, and they're looking at me sort of blank, and I'm thinking of the original Karate Kid with Ralph Macchio, and they're like, no, they're thinking of the one after that. So sometimes my age shows up, and I can't quite connect. But, yeah, you try to motivate in different ways, use things. That's I think, some of the fun stuff, and seeing how you can connect with the guys. But some things, just click with guys and respond, and that's part of coaching, teaching, motivating, trying to inspire them, encourage them, challenge them, get after them. It's all mixed in.
Back row on the left.
Tony, you mentioned Kyle mentioned that with you guys going to Battle for Atlantis, you saw Oklahoma then.
Yeah.
Did you have a first impression with them? And to also kind of add on to that, how much do you feel like you guys have grown since that tournament as well?
Yeah, they were huge. You know, the way they were playing, their size. They were one of the bigger teams. And again, they're playing now. It's interesting. You know, at the time they would play, you know, Doolittle, Kristen it is, at the 3 at times. Now they're playing them sometimes, again, 4 or 5, and doesn't mean they can't. But we just remember their size. And we did not end up playing them. We played solid basketball there. We were, you know, had a good tournament and ended up winning that. So, you know, we just saw, I think it was, they played Wisconsin, and I think we would have played the winner of that if I can't remember the Wisconsin-Oklahoma game. So one of our coaches at Scout said, I haven't seen a team that big, and Wisconsin had a good game against them then. But have we improved since then? I think every team improves in certain ways. So I just think we've become more settled. Different guys have stepped up. Braxton Key has, you know, he's been good for us, and he's established himself more and more. Mamadi at times, Kihei, those guys who are a little more experienced now have really added to our program.
Left side, third row.
Hi, Ben Brenner from the State. With the Friday Night Lights reference, first, what was kind of the message and the point you were trying to get across with that? And could you see the guys kind of get it? And do you have any Friday Night Lights fans on the team?
I don't know if the guys got it or not. So no, it was the quote: "Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose." And it's just if you clearly understand, you know, who you are as a team, your identity, and what you hang your hat on, either as an individual player or as a team, and then you have a full heart in your pursuit of it, you can't lose, you know. I mean, maybe someone will beat you, but you can't lose. So it's pretty simple. And I think I asked, we got any Friday Night Light fans? Or I'm trying to think I think most of them knew that quote, so that was the idea. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I like the movie, so it was good.
Front row, or sorry, second row on the right.
David Teal with the Daily Press. Tony, you mention often that you tell guys who maybe don't start or get the full complement of minutes, and be patient, your time is coming. I can't tell you when, but it is. It's easy for you to say. How difficult is it for them to accept that and be patient? And on the flip side, are you pleased with the patience guys like Braxton and Mamadi and Jay have shown? Because at times, including yesterday, they've been invaluable for you.
Of course, they're a huge part of that team. Every guy is so valuable, and that's the hardest thing. You know, these guys come from high school, and they're the main player, and sometimes delayed gratification is very hard in today's society with all of us, but for young people, it's more of the instant gratification, and those who are willing to usually wait and work, it's rewarding, and it's doing stuff for them beyond, which I think will produce fruit in their lives way past just this season. But that is the challenge. I'm sure, you know, friends, family, like, hey, you should be getting more opportunities, and I think that's also why there's such a transfer. The numbers are so big. But those usually who fight and wait it out, good things happen. So I couldn't be more proud of those guys. And, you know, there's at times they're playing big minutes, and their time's still coming. And, you know, some guys, not everybody can play 30 minutes a game or 35, but I've liked their attitudes, and I've loved at just the right times they've stepped up.
Left side, third row.
Josh Kendall with the State. Was there a tipping point for your recruitment of international players, or has that just gradually grown as the game has grown that way?
Yeah, when I was at Washington State, trying to think who our first, was it Aaron Baines from Australia? You know, I had spent some time in Australia and New Zealand after playing, and then Kirk Penny, a guy that played for my father at Wisconsin and is like a little brother to me, is from New Zealand. When I lived over there, I got to know him. So one of my assistants, Ben Johnson, that was Washington State, played over there. So we had that connection. And then we got a couple guys from Europe. So it's just when you're at Washington State, Virginia schools, I think sometimes finding those hidden gems or guys that are academically sound that are excited to come over. A lot of schools are doing it. Sometimes you can find players that maybe you wouldn't be in such a fight for here, or you would be in a fight. I'm saying if there's a player of that caliber, if you have connections, if you can get to them early, you can sometimes have a better chance to land them. Whereas if they're in the States, they're so exposed, and you know it's such a recruiting battle. So you just try to find your niches, and that's what we've done. Yeah, it's connections over there. It's probably, you know, more guys are exposed now with the internet, and all that. But it was just trusting people, getting your eyes on them, you know, getting video, all those things, trying to assess the competition that they're playing against. You know, and you don't always get it right, but we've been fortunate where some of those guys have been terrific for us.
Front row on the left.
If you've already been asked this, I'll get it off the transcript. But are there advantages to being scared a little bit or being challenged the way you were in the first half yesterday?
I already answered that, so you get off the transcript. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. No. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, that was you know, you felt certainly the way Gardner-Webb played, as I said, was challenging because of how they used their 4s and 5s, the way they were shooting, their quickness, and to get down like that and feel the crowd turn. And, you know, we were in that spot last year, and human nature says this could happen again, but you got to keep fighting. And that was the thing that I don't know if it was good or not, but we just talked about that at halftime. You got to fight. You can't panic, but you got to fight. And I thought, as I said, only the guys that played and were part of that team last year and that were in that locker room this year and understand all that was there will appreciate them responding the way they did in light of that. And like I said, I'm glad that they, all of us could experience that turnaround in that setting, which, you know, pressure, stress, those things, they put you in stuff. And you see some of the best players and best athletes in the world, you can come unraveled in that, and we have at times, and we fought through some of that stuff and came out on the, you know, the positive end. So I think that was important for sure.
Second row, right side.
Yeah, Coach, Ty and Kyle were talking about former players, how they stay in touch, they mentor, they text. One, what does that give your current guys, hearing from them, and what does it mean to you that the guys who are in the NBA or rehabbing from injuries, things like that, still take the time to be involved in the program?
It's everything. It kind of leads back to the question why you want success for the young men that you coach, because I know the kind of young men they'll become, and I know how they're going to pour back into the program and what they're about. So you just desperately want it when you have a healthy alumni base or former players that, you know, are helping your current players or just come back and they work out with our strength coach and they keep in touch with us. That's some of the most rewarding stuff as a coach, I would say. That's the stuff that's going to last. I see that with my father when guys from the whatever teams he had, his high school players, they'll still go and visit with him. They'll play a round of golf, or they'll just go and sit, and my mom will make them their hot fudge sundaes that she used to make when my dad would recruit them, and they'll sit and tell stories, and they'll send me notes and all that. That's the good stuff. That's the lasting stuff. So you're bonded together through experiences, you know, with most of your guys through life. You really are, and that is so rewarding in this game. There's a lot of things, you know, that can be challenging, but those are the memories, and I think a lot of reason why many of the coaches do it and go through the things that we go through. And so we've got great former players all the way from my first year here up until now. Can't tell you how good they are. You guys know that. You've covered them.
This will be the last question for Coach.
Oh, no, you can pass it to someone else then.
Good. One more, Coach. Here on the right.
Tony, Eric Kalinich from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. The way the offense has changed this year with the sets that you guys are using, have the new offensive sets kind of become the best sets for the offense? Is the new stuff kind of the future of the UVA offense?
Yeah, I think you look at your personnel every year and you make adjustments, and a lot of the stuff was born out of either struggles you've had in years past or, again, personnel that you have and what spots they're in. So you're always challenging yourself as a coach. You have to keep improving. The game changes. You have to try. I mean, there's certain things that are constants, but certainly those are things that I think have helped us. And we worked hard on some of the things that have been key for us this year through the summer, fall, during the year. And you know, like I said, it's a couple things we've brought back from previous teams because we have that kind of personnel that can use it. So it's always evolving. And you know, is it the future of UVA offense? Kind of depends on the personnel, but you're always trying to move that needle.
Thank you.
Yep.
What is it a picture of?
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. When he asked me earlier, I figured it was something not a recent photo. Our student athletes from Duke University, Zion Williamson and R.J. Barrett. First question on the right front row.
You guys, Mark Armstrong with ABC 11 back in the triangle. I'm actually going to hand you my cell phone here. You guys create a lot of highlights. I didn't know if you'd seen this photo from last night and maybe just get your reaction to that photo if you take a look at it.
Yeah, I think we both saw this photo a lot, and yeah, like, it's just something we both do. Like, we like to celebrate for each other. Like, so whenever one of us gets a dunk, you'll probably see the other one in the background jumping just as high as him.
Back row on the left side.
To that point, I mean, for both of you, what does that mean? Like, what does that photo mean to both of you? Because the other one that everyone remembers is Dwayne Wade and LeBron, right? When he threw the alley-oop up for LeBron, and Dwayne Wade's already celebrating, and he can't even see LeBron throw it down. Take us through just the connection you two have. It's almost like you're one player on the court. You guys experience the same emotions. You have the same energy, and you celebrate and enjoy each other's dunks, moves, points the same way.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's great. I mean, definitely when we're definitely winning or making winning plays, and just to see, you know, my brother out there doing his thing, doing great, making a highlight. I mean, I got to get excited, and it's like that for, you know, all our teammates. When someone makes a play, you got to be excited for them.
Just like he said, like, it just brings energy to the table, and you know, we're always happy to see each other do well and succeed. So when somebody makes a big play, we don't even have to be on the court. We're gonna celebrate.
Back right corner.
Zion, Jeff Gravely, WRL TV. If you've seen the picture, you may have seen this too from Taco Fall. The comment not allowing you to dunk on him, where he said, "I won't allow it. I won't allow him to put me on one of his highlight tapes." Your reaction to that?
What is he supposed to say? Like, is he supposed to say, "I'm gonna dunk on him"? Like, he said the right thing. Like, but I'm not really focused on that. You know, just focused on trying to help my team win the game.
Front here on the left.
Zion, Luke Cock from the Raleigh News and Observer. On that note, regardless of what he said, he is a different kind of player than you've seen all year. What is your impressions kind of what it's going to be like playing against someone that tall, and the kind of balance between your strength and power and jumping and his just sort of raw height?
He is a very unique player, and I got a lot of respect for him, because for him to be that size and be able to move the way he does and have as much skill as he does, I mean, he's a great player. So I think we're just going to have to come together as a team and figure out what we're going to do to try to stop him.
The right side front row.
Curious, Zion, who the biggest player is that you have gone up against in terms of height in your career. I don't know if you've faced anybody that tall in high school. I know you faced a few probably close to 7-footers here in college. Is anybody you faced anywhere close to that height-wise? Like 7'6"?
Yeah, just Florida State's big man Kamaji.
What is he, like 7'4" or something?
And I'm just curious, as he kind of, you said he's got to say what he's got to say, but do you find when you're matching up with guys that they appreciate the challenge against you, that they kind of want to show themselves off and use you as the stage to do that, or do you find guys are a little bit intimidated? Is there a balance between the two?
Nobody's going to be intimidated on the court. I mean, it's not like he came out and just said it himself. Like, that's the media asking him those questions. Like I said, he's not going to sit here and say, yeah, he's going to dunk on me. Like, he's a competitor, so obviously he's going to say he's going to block my shot. Like, that's just basketball.
Right side.
Wayne Epps with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Zion, you were asked the other day about sort of dealing with the tension over the course of the season and how your parents have kind of prepared you for that. So I was wondering, as the season has progressed, how have you kind of continued to lean on that support system? How have you gotten better as the season has gone on?
I've definitely gotten a lot better with it as the season's going on. And, you know, just having my parents and obviously Duke's staff, you know, they help a lot with, I mean, handling the attention because, I mean, it is Duke University. They've been doing this longer than I've been born with this attention. So, I mean, I feel like coming here was the best choice with handling the attention.
Right side.
Angela Marino, WXU Durham. So last night, Trey said that, yes, it was an exciting win. It was the first win. He's taking all of his energy into refocusing in tomorrow. Are you guys giving yourself the opportunity to kind of enjoy at least the first win, or is it all just refocusing for tomorrow?
Felt like last night was the time to enjoy that win. Now today we just have practice preparing for tomorrow's game. So you got to take it one game at a time, and we got to look what's ahead and not the past.
Right side, second row.
Michael Modell, Duke Chronicle. RJ and Zion, it seems like the last couple weeks, again, the ACC tournament, and last night you guys have really struggled out of the gates. I guess what's been a common trend for you guys in getting out slowly in those games, and what do you guys have to do in order to get out strong?
I think teams really, take it to us at the beginning, and we really can't let that happen. We actually have to throw the first punch and keep throwing punches throughout the game. So we just got to come out more focused.
Yeah, like you said, we just got to come out more focused and more prepared for what the team is going to throw at us because it's not like we're only game planning against them. They're game planning against us as well. So I think it's just a matter of, like, on-time adjustments, like making the read while it's happening.
Right side.
Zion, I imagine you heard about the sort of Zion cam that was being used for the game. I was wondering just what your thoughts were on just having something like that was being used to kind of follow your action throughout the night.
Yeah, I think one of the managers might have showed me that, but I wasn't focused on that at all. I was just focused on trying to go out there and help my team win.
Front row, right corner.
Kind of to piggyback off of that a little bit, RJ, you came in as the #1 recruit in the country and obviously have a very bright future ahead of you. Has it been weird for you to kind of see the attention that's been on Zion throughout the year, and do you think in some ways maybe it's been good for you? Would you have been as comfortable with a RJ cam following you around all day, or do you think the roles that you guys have kind of been put into have suited both of your personalities fairly well?
I mean, it's been great. I wouldn't ask for this year to be any different. I'm very happy that, he gets all that attention and people pay attention to him. That's not gonna stop me from, playing my game or whatever. But, I mean, I'm just very happy to be in the position that I'm in.
Any more questions for our student athletes? Thank you, guys. The Duke locker room will remain open until 3:50. It's now 3:20.
Jimmy, how are you?
Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski. We'll start with questions back row on the right.
Yeah, Kip Coons for Press Box View. Mike, you generally do not play your former players or coaches in regular season games. And I wonder if you could elaborate on why that is and what does that make tomorrow's game against Johnny Dawkins?
Yeah, well, why would you want to? I mean, they're family, and if you don't have to play against them, I'm not going to do it. But this presents an opportunity for both of us in a great setting. So both teams are winners. Johnny's done a fabulous job of establishing his program at Central Florida. They're having an historical year. And, once the game starts, I don't look at the other sideline. So, it's all about my team, just like when he played for me.
Right side.
Mike, Jonathan Jones, Sports Illustrated. Zion, for how aggressive he is, how big he is, really doesn't get into that much foul trouble. I'm curious, what's your take on that? Why is that he's so able to, one, control his body, but two, also not do what conventionally would be a foul as the way he plays?
Yeah, God is good, and God gave him extraordinary ability, but also extraordinary intelligence on how to use the ability and a work ethic to blend the two. And he's a magnificent athlete, and people just look at it as jumping. But his lateral movement and his ability to move with speed and change directions is phenomenal. And so he avoids. He probably gets fouled a hell of a lot more than they're called. In fact, I know he does, and because he's able to finish. And he's one of a kind. He's just one of a kind, and he's going to keep getting better. And I think the arena that he'll play in, like the stage that he plays in, elevates that. So that's been elevated this year, playing in our conference, all the big games, playing the NCAA tournament, and then when he goes pro, it'll be elevated. It'll keep getting elevated, and he'll keep learning.
Staying there on the right side.
Wayne Epps with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. When you have a player like Zion who's garnered the spotlight he has, a Zion cam and everything else, how do you as a coach kind of help him manage that over the course of the season and stay focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, he's very level-headed. None of that phases him. He's all about his team, really, and about winning. And it's amazing, when people who are really good don't seek attention, they get more. Yeah, it's the people who don't necessarily have the ability, they seek attention, and then they get pressured and all that. He doesn't seek attention, he seeks winning and playing really well. He's pure. He's pure, bottom line. He's been amazing to coach and amazing to be his friend. He's got it. He's got it all, and brought up the right way. He's got great parents and value system, everything. It's remarkable, really.
Left side.
Pete Iacobelli, Associated Press. Mike, when you have a player like Zion who does the things he does, do you ever catch yourself?
You guys always say like Zion. Why don't you just say you have a
Like
player
Zion.
named Zion?
Named Zion, right.
I don't have another player like Zion. If I did, both of them would start and would be really, really good.
That being said, do you ever catch yourself going into fan mode on the bench sometimes and thinking, wow, what a player?
No, my thing is to coach him. He came to Duke to be coached and learn, and as he progresses, how we can not put a ceiling on him. But even yesterday, we added something, during the game that went real well, and because you keep learning about a player, and that's how I like to coach, is to keep adjusting.
The center on the back row.
Jeff
Hey,
Bradley,
Jeff.
WRAL. Two coaches on the staff at Central Florida you got to coach. You
Yeah.
inherited Vince Taylor. You recruited Johnny Dawkins.
I would have
impor-
recruited Vince Taylor, though.
I know you would.
Yeah.
How important were they to you, and what did they do for you in your early career at Duke?
Well, in Vince's case, we were going through an amazing transition there, and he was captain of my team, and we're 10-17, and I can remember in the last game we're playing Wake Forest in the ACC tournament. There were about 4 people left in the Greensboro Coliseum, and he had 30-something points and played his heart out, and we've become great friends. And I'm glad that he and Johnny are together. And in Johnny's case, obviously, he was the start of us developing our program at Duke, and our first great player. Although in his class there was another great player, Mark Aller. Don't let Billis tell you that he was the other great player, but he was a real good one. And then adding Amaker with Henderson, and it was just a great combination. His senior year, I'm not sure we'll ever have a team of guys like we did in '86, where you have 2 head coaches, Amaker and Dawkins. Allery was a pro and is very successful. Billis is the best at what he does. Henderson is a scout for Cleveland. Billy King and Danny Ferry have been, Danny was an 18 or 17-year pro, and both of them GMs. Quinn Snyder is the head coach of Utah. What a collection of great guys, who really understood the game, and it's been all uphill, and from then, but a good, really up mountain. Let's put it that way.
Right side.
Mitchell Gladstone, Duke Chronicle. I know Aubrey Dawkins spent some time while Johnny was there. He would be in the gym with you guys.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories of him when he was a young kid being around
Not
you guys?
really. Not really. Their family is really close to ours. In fact, I think some of the family still lives in the Raleigh-Durham area, and I don't remember.
Were you able to follow his? Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
follow his journey and talk to Johnny about him as he, went through high school?
Yeah, no, we didn't. Not really. Not really. Yeah, I mean, I followed him once he went to Michigan, and I was amazed that he was not able to play for his dad at Stanford. That's why we never recruited him. I thought, come on, come on, he should be able to, to go there. But apparently that didn't work out.
Back row, left side.
Yeah, Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Real quick on Coach Dawkins again. 35 or 37 years ago when you recruited him, you were struggling a little bit early in your career.
A lot, yeah.
Was he sort of the Pied Piper? Hey, it's okay for elite players to go to Duke.
I don't think it's not as defined as it is today. With recruiting and all that. Basically. We had to put together a great class, and we actually we did not accept 2 kids who wanted to commit to us at guard, and I just held off, for Johnny, and it worked out, and I can remember the first time I saw him, it was in the Jelliff League. They used to have an outdoor league in D.C., and I was there watching him. I said, holy mackerel, this guy can play. And a guy named Reginald Kitchen, he's an AAU coach in the Northern Virginia area. He came up to me and says, are you the Duke coach? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, there's a kid better than him in the next game. I said, you got to be kidding me. There's no, So I watched the next game, and it's Amaker. And it was amazing that on that day I saw one of the great backcourts in the history of the game, and I can remember Alma Amaker in the stands it's probably a recruiting violation, but I just waved to her. Yeah. Is there a limit at 30-something years? Maybe not for me. And I told Mrs. Amaker, your son's going to look great in Duke blue. And the basketball gods were good for me that day. It was a sunny day, and I saw my backcourt.
Back row in the corner.
Phil Kornblue, Sports Talk Radio Network. Since you're talking recruiting and you're here in the state of South Carolina.
I wasn't talking recruiting. I was talking about two of my great players.
Right. The popular thinking back when Zion was going through the process here in the state was, Clemson looked very strong with him, and even leading up to his announcement day. So I'm wondering with you, can you recall maybe a turning point in the recruiting?
No, there's no. I don't want to talk about recruiting. Yeah, we recruited him hard, and I think Zion always had a love for Duke. And there's so much that's said about recruiting on a day-to-day basis that doesn't have much substance. And all the things with Zion and his family were substantive. And so we never looked at it as being in a race or anything like that. It was just keep developing a relationship with them.
Back left corner.
Mike, should the NCAA put some protections in place for the kids who jump at the G League, 125,000 this summer?
Well, let's just wait until all that all that isn't ironed out yet. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the parties, they haven't met and they haven't done it. Let's give them an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
And will you give your reflections on the one and done, which will officially end but not be end?
Yeah, the one and done is not going to end, because even if kids come out of high school, there'll still be kids who go to college for a year who will leave after a year. And so the early entry into the pros is not going away. It just will be added that the early entry will include high school players. So, but like one and done hasn't hurt college basketball. It's helped college basketball. How many questions are there of Zion today? Come on. And the more talent, the more good players, and really the more, you're not going to see everybody just jump at that, because going to college and being in all these unbelievable programs around the country at the schools, there's a maturation process that goes on, both on and off the court, that an 18-year-old needs. In some respects, a 17-year-old needs. And they're much better prepared with any amount of time they spend in college. And that's not just to say financially, but part of going to the pros is not getting into the pros, it's staying in the pros. And you're not going to stay in the pros unless you got balance and you got maturity. So you better be careful that you don't just jump. You take advantage of what our institutions have to offer, and the great programs around the country have to offer.
Back row left side.
Coach, you know better than maybe anybody how important.
Don't say that, please.
How important leadership is.
Someone's going to say, Coach K said he knew better than anybody.
Well, you know how important leadership is, especially this time of year. How have you seen somebody like Javin take to that role?
Yeah, Javin's been excellent because he's improved. I think it's helped him improve as a player. And, a big part of when you have a lot of talent in a freshman class is for the upperclassmen not to feel inferior, not to feel less, and where they feel secure about what they do. And our freshmen have been great about that. They're secure. And our upperclassmen have developed that. And we have a really great unit. But it doesn't just happen. It happens because those kids work together and make each other feel that good. Just watching us at team meals and stuff like that, everybody's sitting with everybody.
just little things. Last night, they were getting, having something to eat, and they were coming down at a little bit different times. And one table had one seat available. And Antonio was sitting at another table. Not all the guys were there. Marquise came down, and all of a sudden, he was getting ready to sit down. He saw Antonio, and boom, he went to that table. You know what I mean? So you may think that's a little thing. It's not a little thing. Our guys just have done that naturally, and it's been beautiful. We've loved being with this group. They've been sensational every day.
Right side, back row.
Coach, you coached against Johnny about 4 years ago in a Coaches versus Cancer game. I wonder if you had any memories of that game. And
no, I don't even remember it, to be quite frank.
Okay. So
what day is today, by the way?
I was going to ask if the emotions of that day were going to be similar to what's going to happen tomorrow.
My wife didn't give me my name tag today. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, once the game starts, it doesn't matter who I'm coaching against, really. So, and then once it's over, I don't have a rear view mirror. I'm on to the next thing. So, I don't even remember it. I can't. I think we won. Did we win? Yeah. All right. Thank you. But and again, I've coached a lot of games, man. And if I start trying to remember all of them, there's only so much space, mind space. Especially as we get older.
Third row in the middle.
Mike, what's Jack White's availability for tomorrow?
Yeah, we don't think he's going to play. He had a decent workout today with band work and that, and he'll try it out probably in warm-up, but I don't think so. But Marquise came out really well from yesterday's game. I thought he did a good job, especially guarding. They have a lot of shooters, and
And is game planning for Taco Fall any different than maybe game planning for the Florida State guys when you see them?
Because Florida State's, they're big. They're both big teams, but they play different styles. And how Leonard uses his big men, both of them, and Cabanelli is a lot different. But I think it's helped playing against Kamaji. But Fall is stronger, bigger, and they go to him more. And he really just takes up the paint. He does a great job. Johnny's team plays excellent defense, whether he's in or not. They're a veteran defensive team.
Anything else for Coach?
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The Duke locker room will remain open until 3:50. It is now 3:43.
guys able to get some rest? Yeah. Early morning or late night? Yeah.
Our student athletes from the University of Central Florida, Aubrey Dawkins, Taco Fall, and BJ Taylor, will open the questions from the floor at this time. Start in the back right corner.
For BJ, I wonder if there was any talk this morning about the game last night at all.
Yeah. We went over some of the things we did good against VCU, some of the things we did bad, and we moved on to our next opponent. So that's our main focus right now, is getting ready for the game tomorrow.
Back row in the middle.
This is for BJ or Taco, CL Brown with The Athletic. If you didn't know that Aubrey was Coach Dawkins' son, like how would you describe kind of the relationship of father and son? Do you guys see it strictly as coach and player, or can you tell at points that it's father son?
Taco?
I mean, I see him as not really as a father and son, but as a player and coach. He coaches him really hard, like he do for the rest of us, and he treats him the same way that he treats all of us. I mean, I would say basically pretty much all of us are his sons, the way I see it.
And yeah, I mean, what Taco said pretty much. I mean, to add, Aubrey, he's such a good person and such a good teammate that he makes it, easy to just like be one of the guys and just fit in with us because of his personality and just how he is and how he approaches every day.
Front on the right.
Wayne Epps with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Off that, Aubrey, what's your favorite thing about playing for your father, and how has that dynamic kind of evolved over time?
Just the best part is building our relationship. And now me being a young man in this game and having the ability or having the chance to be around him at this stage in my life and in my career in basketball, it's been priceless. And that's what I love most, just going every day next to him and learning from him and us getting closer, as a father and son, and also as a player and a coach.
Front row, right side.
Dan Walken, USA Today. Taco, it seemed like last night you were maybe having some fun with the idea that Zion might try to dunk on you in the game tomorrow. In here earlier, he said, he kind of had fun with it too. He said, "What are you supposed to say?" Do you feel like he is going to try to go at you just to prove a point because you're the tallest player he's ever played against?
I don't know. I don't know what his mindset is, so I cannot speak for him. But I can speak for myself. I'm just gonna go out there and try and win the ball game and do everything that I can to have my team win the ball game. Basketball plays are gonna happen. I'm gonna be out there, be aggressive, be the rim protector that I am. Zion, obviously very talented kid, great kid. I see nothing but positive things about him. And very high ceiling too. And he also has great teammates, great bunch of kids, but he's going to do his job, and I'm going to do my job, and whatever happens, happens.
Right-hand side.
Aubrey, you played at Michigan before you came here. Then you joined a team with a player, a unique player like Taco. Did you have to relearn or adjust to what he does to both the opposing team and how he changes your team as well?
He just makes the game easier, which is, that's all I can really say. We have a guy back there you can trust to block shots if you get beat on the drive, or a guy who's going to, score 75% field goal percentage of the basket. It's nice to have that nice comfort back there.
Left side, Pete.
Pete Yacovelli, Associated Press. Aubrey, as much affection as your dad has for Duke and Coach K, do you think he'll do anything? How do you think this matchup is affecting him, if at all?
He's a game-by-game kind of guy. Same mentality no matter who we play. The name of the jersey doesn't really matter to him. We just play our game, focus on just the win. That's really it. Yeah.
Right-hand side, second row.
Mitchell Gladstone, Duke Chronicle. Aubrey, going off that, do you have any memories of, I know you used to spend time with him when he was a coach at Duke and being around the team. Do you have any memories from any specific teams or any specific players that you grew up with as a kid?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time around the guys, especially growing up. The Chris Duhans, the Dante Jones, just all kinds of players I could list off, and just seeing them as I grew up and worked out in the gym in Cameron sometimes after their practice was done, or working out in car gym. So yeah, I have a lot of good memories, and it was good for my foundation to see that.
Left side.
This is for all the players. I mean, you've already made history. This is UCF's first NCAA win. Does that kind of, I don't know, do you get to play a little looser now, a little freer? What's the mentality going into this matchup?
BJ, and then we'll come this direction.
It's the same mentality that we've had for every game this season. Just try to go 1-0. That's been our focus every game, and that's the same focus we're going to have for this game.
Same thing as he said. We just trying to go 1-0. Obviously, we made it that far sticking to our principles, so why change it? We're just going to keep the same mentality and move on.
Yeah, what they said, just try and get a win best we can. Whatever we can do to get that win is the goal. Focus on our principles and what we stick to, and let the rest take care of itself.
Back row on the right side.
Yeah, Kip Coons, press box view. For BJ, you're one game into your NCAA tournament run now, and you're playing one of the most storied programs in basketball history, 5 national championships, all the attention that Duke has gotten. How do you approach that, and is it a little staggering to think, what you face tomorrow?
I mean, for us, like I said, we're going to approach it the same way we've approached every game this season. Coach does a great job of making us treat every game like it's a championship game, making us treat every game, no matter who we're playing, like it's the biggest game of the season. So, I mean, we're prepared for this, and now it's just about going out there and executing.
Right side.
Taco, Mike DeCourcia, Sporting News. You guys, this is your first time in the NCAA tournament as a group. So is there a difference in the attention paid? Does it change anything about going through and preparing for the game and going through the game?
I mean, we've been preparing for this moment all season, so nothing has changed. We've been taking the championship approach to everything that we've been doing, so that when times like this come, we will be ready. So nothing has changed from how we approach things. We've been, following the same process, just following the coach's plan, and and just taking care of business.
Back row.
Taco, Allison Williams, ESPN. What are the keys to using your height advantage to make sure that you don't end up on any Zion Williamson highlight reel?
I mean, obviously, I'm a great defensive player, but I don't want that game to be about me and Zion. It's, obviously it's very exciting. You got a guy who's 7'6", you got a guy another guy who's a freak athlete, very talented. But at the end of the day, it's a ball game. It's basketball. We can't make it bigger than what it really is. And I don't want it to be like a freak show between Zion and I. It's bigger than that. It's UCF versus Duke. They have great players, talented guys. We have also great players, very experienced, talented guys, and we're gonna go out there and do whatever we can to win the ball game.
Back row in the corner.
To BJ, so what would it mean to this program, to the team, to you, if you guys do win tomorrow?
It will mean a lot. That's our focus. That's what we're here to do. Everybody's here to win. So, like I said, before we get to that, we're just getting ready for practice today and just trying to prepare to make that happen.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you, guys. The locker room will remain open until 4:35.
No. It's in April, right?
Absolutely. That's the only time we'll sleep, right?
Head coach Johnny Dawkins with the University of Central Florida. Questions for Coach? Back row, right side.
Johnny Kip Coons for Press Box View. During the season, how often do you and Mike Krzyzewski, on average, talk? And when was your last conversation? Prior to the tournament.
Well, we're always going to be in touch. That's just going to happen. I can't say that the frequency, but we're always in touch. Probably the last time, phone conversation, I want to say probably 2 weeks ago, maybe or less. So we had a good conversation somewhere around then, just talking about, one of our wins, and he's called and just kind of caught up with him. He caught up with what we were doing. And of course, we follow each other's, progress, see how each other's teams playing and stuff. So I would say quite frequently.
Front row on the right.
Hey, Johnny, Jeff Gravely, WRL TV. How do you process the many ties that your team has to the Duke program? You played there. Vince played there. Your son grew up around the program. What kind of impact will it have on this game, and what kind of impact will it have on how you prepare for this game?
Well, I think, for us, having been a part of the Duke family, of course, it was special. And so we all realized that. We all felt fortunate to be a part of it, and felt fortunate to play for Coach and work for Coach, in my case. And my son, growing up in Durham, of course, that was always special. He was around the team. He's always in the gym working out afterwards. So, of course, I'm sure it's a unique feeling for him as well. And but it's one of those things where, for all of us, it's just like I said, it's awkward too, because you don't feel. You're someone that you've worked for, you're very close with, and like I said before, I think no one looks forward to that type of situation. It's something that happens because we're in a tournament, and it means we've done well because we're all moving forward. But it's not something you look forward to.
Front row on the right.
Mark Armstrong with ABC 11 back in the triangle. There may be elements of what Jeff asked you to this question, too. Obviously, there's been a ton of water under the bridge and your colleagues and friends now, but is there still a part of you that is like Johnny Dawkins, the freshman who showed up to Duke and he was your coach?
That's always there. You probably put me on the line now, I'll probably start running suicides. That's just part. Once someone's coached you, they're your coach for the rest of your life, and that's how it is. And I have, of course, the utmost respect for Coach and his program. Like I said, I was a part of it and loved it, and I love Coach, so that's easy.
Front row on the left.
Johnny, Steve Weisman, Durham Herald's son. You went through this at Stanford a few years ago when you guys played Duke up in Brooklyn. Does that take away some of the awkwardness that you've been through this before? Do you draw on that experience as far as being able to set all that stuff aside and approach the game?
No, I think that does help some, that we've done this once before where we were in this environment, and it's still the same, you still don't, relish it, but it's still something that you've already experienced, so you understand everything that will be around this, and that's a good thing, for me, and I'm sure the same thing for Coach, just, he's done it with several former players before. I had never done it with Coach until that time, so it was good to kind of, understand, what that was all about.
Left side.
Pete Yakabelli, Associated Press. Johnny, you said the other day you hadn't had a lot of chance to watch the Duke guys play. I assume that you've watched a bunch more film now in preparation. What do you think of Zion and RJ and Cam and the rest?
Very impressive. They don't play like freshmen. Really, really talented young men. And I've seen a lot of freshmen, over the course of my career, of course, that have been talented. But they have a certain, will about them. They have a certain togetherness about them that oftentimes only happens with maturity and playing a lot of games together. I watch them. They seem to have fun, playing together, making each other better on the floor. And a lot of times with young players, find that chemistry is difficult. And they seem to have found that. And I think that's why they're having so much success.
Right side, Jonathan.
Jonathan Jones, Sports Illustrated. Johnny, specifically on Zion, how do you prepare to guard a guy like him? When you watch the tape, and I assume you've probably watched the last at least 4 or 5 of his games, and he's been playing extremely well those games that you've probably watched. How do you prepare for a guy like him with his size? You obviously know what you have at the rim with Taco, but outside of the painted area, how do you prep for that?
Well, we have to understand that he's a great player, on any level. His skill set with his size and his explosiveness makes him unique. And you're not going to stop Zion. I mean, we don't go into we're going to stop Zion wins. We want to try to contain a player like that. And, that's a success for you if you can try to just contain him because he's going to find ways to score the basket. He's going to find ways to make, spectacular plays. He's done that all his life. We have to understand that we can't let that, be a distraction to what we do.
Front row, right side.
Johnny, what are the challenges and the rewards of getting a chance to coach your son? I'm not talking about in Pee Wee ball or AAU, but high Division I basketball.
It's been really special. I didn't know what to expect. I've said this often. I really had no desire to coach him early on because I'd worked with him every single day. We'd be in the gym after after I finished work at Duke. I'd bring him to the gym and we'd train. When I was at Stanford, the same thing. So we've done that pretty much all his life. And so I would say the last thing I want to do is if we're doing this every single day, now I'm going to grab you and I'm going to coach you. And so I kind of avoided it. And just the timing just worked out where we could get together. And at the time it was right. And I think he was ready as far as where his maturity level was. I was ready where my career was. And it's been terrific. And other coaches that told me, I said Steve Alford being one of the main ones, Ray McCullum, another coach, they all said, if you get a chance to coach your son, you should do that. And that always kind of stuck with me as I was coaching in my college career when he was of age. And so when the opportunity presented itself, we did it. And they were absolutely right. And I've enjoyed every moment of it. It's really been special.
Left side.
Yeah, Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Coach, I know it was 37 or 38 years ago, but can you recall why you chose Duke when Duke was struggling at the time when you could have gone anywhere?
Well, absolutely. A few reasons. I mean, one, of course, Coach K. I mean, he hadn't accomplished what he's accomplished now. He's arguably the greatest college coach to coach our game. But, back then I still had a belief in, who I thought he could become. He painted a really good vision for us as a team, what he thought we could do. He painted a great vision for me, what he thought my career could be like. And so that trust in him, that person, was important. And then they did a great job recruiting. I mean, they spent, a large amount of time recruiting me, years of developing relationships. It wasn't something just happened that first year on a whim. They started recruiting me, and I'm almost all of a sudden I'm going to go to Duke. It was years of recruiting. That was a great commitment. And so with his commitment, with Duke University being the institution that it was, they made me feel real comfortable. They made me feel it was the right decision.
Back corner, right side.
Coach, do you get a sense of how your team, not only facing, in a tournament game, but facing the tournament's #1 overall seed, the #1 team in the country, do you get a sense of how your team is sort of attracted to that kind of challenge?
I think my team will come out with a sense of maturity. I think they'll come out with a focus, and that's what they've been, all year. They've come out and they've competed, against everyone we've played against, and that's, I think, largely because of the leadership. Our senior leaders, guys that have been around, they've demanded that from all of our players. So I think they'll continue to lead the same way they have all season.
Yesterday, Colin Smith played 8 minutes. I wonder what you said to him after the game and what you really need from him in this game tomorrow.
Well, I mean, Colin, every game is different. And, we found something that worked well for us, during the game versus VCU. And when something's working well for you like that, and we've done this, during other games during the season, I'm sure you know that, Brian, where, minutes may be divvied out differently, but it's based on our opponent and what's working well for us. And so it was a night where some things were working better for us, and so we stuck with those. But Colin is always, a player that we believe in, and we know he can make, huge contributions for us. So it just based on personnel, basically, and that decision was made.
Left side, second row.
Coach, it seems like the last few games, Frank Burtz has really contributed coming off the bench late. I mean, last night he hit a couple threes, had a couple big offensive rebounds. Talk about what he brings tomorrow night's matchup and coming off the bench for you guys late like that.
Well, as much as he contributes making threes, I just love his energy and his effort. He makes a lot of, winning basketball plays, a lot of plays that kind of can go unnoticed because he'll make threes and everyone sees him knocking down and getting points. But I just love his overall game. He plays with great energy. He plays the right way. He plays to win.
Coach, back row on the right.
Yeah, our Kip Coons press box view. Johnny, having grown up in Mike's system, is there any advantage to you tomorrow knowing, the way they like to run their sets or the way they do things?
It's different, Kip, from when, I was there coaching and when I was there playing for him. As you know, Coach he's the master of adapting to change in time. So I was there, over a decade ago. This game has changed so much since then, and coaches adapted to that. So, how they play now and the schemes they use, aren't the same schemes that they used when I was coaching there, and definitely not the same schemes when I played for him. So he's changed a lot, and I've been watching a lot of tape, of course, all last night and this morning. And it's a different team. There are different players he's coaching, and there's a different style that he's utilizing to bring the most out of those guys.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you.
All right, guys, take care.
The University of Central Florida locker room will remain open until 4:35. It is currently 4:17.